what talents you have and abilities you have, skills you have, and what line and direction you must go into your life, what you must do, and you will become very successful. You're wasting your time when you're worried about what other man has. It destroys our future and our life.
This is a new song that, well, it's not a new song, it's an older song, but we're going to do it again. Sing it with me, speak it up. We're going to sing it slow now, right? Jesus, you're my master and my king. Jesus, you're my Lord, my everything. Jesus, it's your blood that made me clean. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Everybody try it. Jesus, you're my master and my king. Jesus, you're my Lord, my everything. Jesus, it's your blood that made me clean. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Everybody join in, come on. Jesus, you're my master and my king. Jesus, you're my Lord, my everything. Jesus, it's your blood that made me clean. Hallelujah. Sing it one last time, all right? Jesus, you're my master and my king. Jesus, you're my Lord, my everything. Jesus, it's your blood that made me clean. Hallelujah, hallelujah. All right, everybody, come on, clap your hands. Not ashamed of your love, not ashamed of your grace, not ashamed of the cross, not ashamed of your word. From the highest mountain top to the lowest valley low, shout your name until the whole world knows. Jesus, you're my master and my king. Jesus, you're my Lord, my everything. Jesus, it's your blood that made me clean. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Jesus, you're my master and my king. Jesus, you're my Lord, my everything. Jesus, it's your blood that made me clean. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Can I do but dance and shout to let these praises out? I once was lost and oh so bound. By your grace I have been found. With the work and scream and shout for every temporary thing, I can give my loudest praise to thee. Jesus, you're my master and my king. Jesus, Jesus, it's your blood that made me clean. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Jesus, you're my master and my king. Jesus, you're my Lord, my everything. Jesus, it's your blood that made me clean. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Now we're going to shout unto God with a voice of triumph. Here we go. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Everybody. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Jesus, you're my master and my king. Jesus, you're my Lord, my everything. Jesus, it's your blood that made me clean. Hallelujah, hallelujah. One more time. Jesus. Jesus. You're my master and my king. Jesus. You're my Lord, my everything. Jesus. It's your blood that made me clean. Hallelujah. 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 Jesus. Oh, clap your hands and give him all the praise in this place. Jesus, my master and my king.
God says, have respect for private property. If that belongs to another man, don't do it. It belongs to another man. You know, if it feeds another man's field, he shall make restitution from the best of his own field and the best of his own vineyard. Then he's got to go and take something from his crops and pay back for whatever the cows and sheep have eaten out of that man's land, you know. And so on and so forth. That whole chapter is interesting to see because it is all about private property ownership and rights associated with that. And that is why the thing about not stealing, that thou shalt not steal, has to do with respect for ownership of private property. You say that's, if you take anything that belongs to another man, that is stealing. That is the way the Bible puts it. And when that is not appreciated, you know, then the society is in trouble. That society cannot prosper because of this very problem. And you can apply it in so many ways, you know. You can apply it in so many ways. Especially, you know, when people take loans, they take money from people or bank or something. One fellow was telling me, it's better to take it from a bank because they won't ask you. That's exactly what he said. They won't ask you. By the time they ask you and they come after you and they file case against you and all, it'll be 10, 15 years, brother. You can enjoy that all the while. See the attitude, you know. See the culture. One bank manager told me, we don't give to institutions, you know, that do NGOs and institutions like that because they disappear after they get the money. That's exactly he told me. One guy came, sir, the other day, you know, got 50 lakhs from us and never came back. Never even made one payment, he says. Because they have this idea that banks have a lot of money. I don't have money. Why should I pay them back? You know. And then they think bank is not lending any. Bank wants to lend money because the only way they can make money is to lend money. They get your interest and that's how they employ people and work things. They want to lend money. They're afraid of lending money because you can take money in big way and run out, you know, and skip the country itself, you know. So that's why they don't want to give the money. How will prosperity come, you know? Prosperity cannot come. God's laws are designed in such a way that all these things can be forbidden by a cultural transformation. The way they think must be transformed. Christianity, I believe, even today brings about a cultural transformation where we think differently, therefore we do things differently, and therefore we are poised for success and prosperity. The problem is, today, we don't think about it. This kind of thing is not taught, so we don't think about it like that. We think 10 Commandments is something that we frame and hang on our walls, you know. We are fighting big time just because they're not allowing us to hang the 10 Commandments. I say hang it, not hang it on a wall. Don't fight about how they're not allowing it to hang it. Preach it, explain it, interpret it, apply it to today. Spread it. Inculcate this culture inside of people. Let the people think in these terms. Then they will act along those lines. And that will surely and certainly lead to economic prosperity. Chapter 20, verse 12. Honor your father and mother. This is another law. Now you may think, what does this have to do with economic life? Listen to this. Honor your father and mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you. Now turn to Ephesians chapter 6. Paul is going back and referring to Moses, the laws of Moses. He says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with you, that you may live long on the earth. So he's literally in verse 2 and 3, he's quoting from Exodus 20. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment promise, that it may be well with you, that you may live long on the earth. Why should you honor your father and mother? He says that it may go well with you. That means so that you will live prosperously. That's what well with you means. And the second reason is so that you may live in that land. Why that land? That's the good land. That wonderful land flowing with milk and honey. And not lose that blessing. Live in the midst of the abundance of that land. You may live in that land for a long time to come. Honor your father and mother. Now, this is a very important issue. How does it impact our economic life? Because it impacts very big time, because our children learn how to respect authority and those that are above them at home. They learn it from parents. If a child is obedient at home and listens to instruction and follows instruction, and that kind of culture is inculcated in a child, when he goes to work, he'll have no problem working under somebody and taking orders from somebody and doing what somebody requires him to do. Yeah. I remember one person said to me, see, this boy, he's very rebellious, very bad. So I have brought him to you. So you please employ him, give him something to do. I know you will pray for him, you will do something for him. You be like a father to him. I said, listen, lady, you are the mother. And his father is the father. I'm no father to him. Don't bring him when he's 24 years old and 6 feet 2 inches tall, but I have to look at this guy like this. You should have dealt with him when he's just 2 feet tall. Taken him by the ears and brought him to church and made him read the Bible, made him pray, taught him the things of God and taught him to obey. Don't bring him when he's 24 years old and 6 feet 2 inches tall, and you have to beg him saying, oh son, please, I beg you, listen to me. That's the way she's talking to him. Why? Because he's 6 feet tall, and he's telling the mother, you don't, shut up, you don't know anything. He has no respect for the mother and father. And how do you, I'm not surprised at all that he's not able to work under anybody, because he does not understand the concept of authority and obeying authority, how that is, it's part of the plan of God. God's word says that we have authorities in this world, officials in the government and so on, governors, magistrates and all. We obey authority. And that basic skill is learned at home. She says, I brought him to the church. You teach him at the church. No, that is supposed to be taught at home, not at the church. Church you come to only on Sundays. You keep him 24 hours a day, all the rest of the 6 days. So you're supposed to teach him. And because that basic skill is not learned, that person does not respect authority. I actually saw when I was young, I was going to a school where a boy beat up the teacher, My heart was very grieved as I saw that. I didn't have all this knowledge about that. But I was raised in a Christian home, And I knew that it was terribly wrong that he stretched his hand out and beat that teacher, What a terrible thing it is. He has absolutely no respect for the authority. And the more astonishing thing is, the father showed up and said, come son, we'll go home, I'll take care of you. We don't need this school. He's supporting the son. This is the way he has raised him, The thing is, he must support the son because he's the father and son, they're very close. They support each other, whether right or wrong. That's the policy, He's not able to tell the son that he's wrong when he's wrong. No wonder the child turned out like that. He literally took the teacher and all over the grounds he beat him, Literally beat him until that guy was all swollen and injured, Police had to come and stop everything. It is because obedience and respect was not learned at home. You think that guy will go out and be very successful in this world? I don't think so. Because anytime anybody acts up, the first thing he's going to do is, rebel and be very disrespectful. I don't think he can get along with anybody. And that will spoil his economic future, his economic life and future. I don't think he'll learn very well. I don't think he'll make it big and all that unless he repents and changes and really transforms in some way. All right. So all these laws make economic impact. When a child is raised to honor the father and mother, then that leads to prosperous economic life. Why? Because the child is able to go out in the world and do things and succeed in the world because he knows how to obey authorities, how to do things, and so on. All right. Another thing is, you shall not murder, verse 13. It's a society that must prosper, must value life. I went to a place to preach. I remember to a town to preach. There are many places in the world like that. I'm going next month to another place. They say it's very dangerous, That man told me already. He said, don't at night, don't in the evening get out and walk out and go for a walk and all that because everybody has a gun here and they will shoot you and stuff like that. I said, oh yeah, I'll make sure I stay in the hotel, Never get out. But this is the thing. There are societies, whole societies like that, just with guns and so on. I was staying in this place and in a compound in an institution, and in the night, 3 watchmen came and they took the guns from the office and they started going around the compound. I said, why guns? I thought it's a nice place. I was walking every day in the morning, out there. Why guns? The man said, well, here, with guns, the thieves will come. The rowdies will come and they will, take anything from you if you don't have guns and if you are not able to fight back. So we have 3 watchmen watching with guns going around the compound. And then he said, this road that you walk today, up and down, for exercise, You see on both sides of the road, you see all these big bungalows there, each one at least an acre or so. Big, beautiful bungalows. He says, all these belong to big business people here. But all of these were grabbed by others by force. And nobody can go against them, fight them in the court. Nobody can take any legal action against them because that's the way it is. No rule of law in that society. So I was glad to get out of there. Every preaching I was counting, morning session over, evening session over. I told the man, there's a lot of people waiting for me in Chennai to preach, I don't want to get into any trouble, And tell them, sorry, I went there and I got shot or something like that. I want to get back there safe and do my job there. Why would anybody wants to go that side? If I don't want to go that place because it's dangerous, you think any business people will go there? Anybody will do anything there? I don't think so. Development cannot happen. No prosperity can come. No future for those people. I look into the eyes of those people. There is no future. They are stuck there. Some of them can't even buy a ticket to get out of town, if they want to. They are stuck there. I thank God that I was not born in such a place and in that condition. Thank God for every blessing that has come my way. So blessed to be free, to be living in a nice place, in a nice way, and to be blessed by God in such a way. You must appreciate God's blessings. As society, God is getting them ready to go into the promised land. He says, look, leave these things behind, Respect human life. Man is made in the image and likeness of God. That is why murder is wrong. You cannot strike a man dead. Why? Because he's made in the image and likeness. That is like God drawing a beautiful artwork and you coming and kicking it and tearing it up and disrespecting it. When you strike a man dead, you are destroying the very image and likeness of God. That is why murder is wrong. When a society has a lot of murders happening, you have to spend, when you go to a place like this, you have to have 3 watchmen, 3 guns. Look at all the money that you'll be spending just for your protection. You'll have to go with bodyguards. You can't go anywhere alone. What kind of work can you do there? What kind of business can you do there? You don't want to prosper there because if you prosper, somebody will come after you. So you want to make sure you're poor for always because poor is safe. God said, shall not murder. Why? Because it's a good land, prosperous land, flowing with milk and honey. Don't ruin it with all your murderous acts and tendencies and so on. Then he says, you shall not commit adultery. Verse 14. Exodus 20, verse 14. Just look at these things. You shall not commit adultery. What is that all about? It is a law about how a society must esteem marriage as honorable. Marriage is honorable in all. It must be esteemed as an honorable thing. You cannot just throw away marriage like that. Adultery is the only reason that you can get a divorce, it says. So adultery inevitably leads to divorce. So the commandment is given to that society, the people of Israel. You shall not commit adultery. Why? Because your family life will be ruined. In what way will it be ruined? Your marriage will be ruined. Your children will be left without a father, without a mother. Your children will be left in a destitute condition, without much support. I've seen many times families where this kind of thing happens and children are writing. I've seen cases where they're writing their 12th standard exam and the parents are getting divorced. How do you think the child will study? I'll never forget a place where I went to preach in another place and some people stood in line to get prayed for, and that's their custom. So I was praying for one young boy came and he said, please pray for my parents. I said, why? Because, they're getting a divorce. I don't know what to do. What's going to happen? I don't know. I said, what are you doing? I'm a high school student. I'm not able to study. I'm not able to concentrate. I'm worried about this. Can you please pray for them? The child has become like an adult, and the adults have become like children. They're fighting. And the child is coming to church asking for prayer from the preacher for the parents. See how everything has turned around. Adultery destroys families, destroys life, destroys the future of these young children, destroys everything. That is why Jesus, in talking about the same law, thou shalt not commit adultery, Jesus interprets it. He said, if a man looks at a woman with a lustful eye, he has already committed adultery with her. You know what he's saying? He says, deal with it when it's in stage 1. What is stage 1? Stage 1 is where you are tempted because of lust. James chapter 1 says, how a man is tempted is this. He is tempted because of his lust. And then because of that lust, he is enticed. That's stage 2. And then after he is enticed, the lust is conceived in his heart. Like a woman conceives a child, lust conceives so that it can bring forth. That's the 4th stage. When the 4th stage comes, you're dead. Deal with it in the 1st stage, he says. Number 1 stage, when it begins, where it begins, at the level of the temptation, at the level of the lust, deal with it. If a man looks at a woman with a lustful eye, he's already committed. It's a serious business. He's telling that society, if you allow if you think about it as a very normal activity, it's a human activity, this is the thing, this is how we go on, and this is how we do things, then you're finished. As a society, you'll ruin yourself. Your prosperity will be ruined. How will the children have a bright future? How will they study? How will they succeed? How will they prosper in the future? It makes it 10 times more difficult for them to fight it out and prosper and come up in the future when these kind of things happen. So all of these things have an economic impact. So God says, consider marriage as honorable. Finally, thou shalt not covet. Not only you can't steal, but you can't even think about stealing. That's what it means. You can't covet. In some societies, there is a lot of covetousness. So-and-so has so much. I don't have nothing. In those societies, you'll find people worrying about what other person has. Have you ever seen some people? They're always opening the window, looking at the house across the street. Oh, he's bought a new car. Did you see that car? Oh, he bought a new fridge. Did you see that big TV? And the husband says, no, I don't. Oh, I see everything going in. I know it went in. I know what kind of TV it is. They got all the details and they've got a copy of the invoice already. Now, why are these people worried about what the other man bought? It's covetousness. Sitting here, they're watching what. Let anybody buy anything and do anything. It's their money, their thing. They're doing whatever they can do. What is our business? We have nothing to do with that. Such people waste their time entertaining jealousy, envy, and all kinds of irritations inside of them because they don't have it and the others have it. In societies where there is very little covetousness, people are busy doing something to improve their life. Instead of opening the window and looking at across the street what's happening, shut the windows, I say, and sit down with your Bible and with God. Pray about what God has put inside of you, your gifts and talents and your abilities, what God has given to you on the inside. Think about what God wants you to do in this world, what He wants you to achieve, what you are made for, what is your future, what makes your life meaningful, what is the will of God concerning your life. Let anybody do whatever they want. Shut the door and fellowship with God, pray, read the Word of God, get to know God and get to know the purpose for your life. Look at yourself instead of looking at others. See what talents you have and abilities you have, skills you have, and what line and direction you must go into your life, what you must do, and you will become very successful. You're wasting your time when you're worried about what other man has. It destroys our future and our life.
Let's clap our hands. The Bible says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, all your mind, everything you got. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. With all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. I will serve you. I will serve you, Lord, with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my mind, with all my strength. I will serve you, Lord, with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my mind, with all my strength. With all my heart, with all my soul, with all my mind, with all my strength. I will serve you, Lord, with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my mind, with all my strength. We're going to sing and commit ourselves to God. Sing after me. All right? I will love you. Everybody? I will love you. I will praise you. I will praise you. I will serve you. Trust you, Lord, with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my mind, with all my strength, with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my mind, with all my strength. I will love you, Lord, with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my mind, with all my strength. I will love you, Lord, with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my mind. Say, one more time. I will love you, Lord. I will love you, Lord, with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my mind.